Ruslan.
The one mistake that Big Sean made, seems to continue to make, that was revealed on the Drink Champs podcast, that I think we all can make and do make, and it's just a blind spot for a lot of us if we're honest. So that is what we're going to be talking about on this video. Guys, my name is Ruslan. We have a free How to Study the Bible course in the description of this video. A ton of resources also, like a Master My Habits course, a Find Your Niche if you're looking to get into the YouTube Christian creator space. There's a lot of stuff in the description. Make sure you check that out. In this interview, there's a lot of revelations made specifically about Big Sean's dynamic with Kanye and good music. Big Sean being one of the only artists that did all 5 albums on good music, kind of holding down the label, him being loyal, so on and so forth. But there's one revelation made that I think really could have prevented a lot of this. Okay, so I'm gonna play this clip, and this is Nori kind of going back and forth with Big Sean about some of the tension in his relationship with Kanye. And this is by no means am I saying Kanye is in the right here, because I don't think he is. I think the way he handled himself with Big Sean was foul on the podcast. I think him kind of dunking on him was just not cool. But what Big Sean revealed in this interview, macro, is that apparently after auditing Universal Music Group, he discovered that Kanye's good music was paid out on Big Sean's behalf over $6 million that they did not pay him. How these things work is when you're signed to a label like Good Music is in partnership with Def Jam. Def Jam receives all the money from iTunes, record sales, CD sales. Back then there was a lot of CD sales. Spotify, Apple Music, all that kind of stuff. Universal receives all the money, or Universal Def Jam. And then instead of paying out Big Sean his cut and paying out Good Music their cut, they paid it all to Good Music, and then Good Music was supposed to pay Big Sean, which they never did. A lot similar to the Cash Money situation. Big Sean's manager from Roc Nation said this was the worst record deal he's ever seen, okay? So that's just kind of a synopsis of what was revealed. He audited his own label because of him hearing Charlemagne talk about Good Music owing Big Sean $3 million. He audited the label, which cost hundreds of thousands of dollars. In the process, found out that they actually owe him $6 million. And so as they're having this conversation, Nori kind of points something out to him that I think we all can learn from. Okay, so I know that was a whole lot, but it gives context. I just summarized about 50 minutes worth of content. You guys should watch the whole interview if you're interested.
There is factual truth that I am owed money. That's a fact. That's a fact. That's not like a twisted fact. That's not like an opinion. That's not like being like, you man, when you handed me your CD back when we was at this, man, I don't know, whatever the case is.
Right.
There's a difference, bro.
Right.
This is a fact.
Right.
So
but we did establish that you never actually spoke to him as a homie.
So Big Sean says, it is a fact. I audited my label. They paid Good Music $6 million. That money did not get to me. It was entitled to me. I didn't get that money. That is a fact. And then Nori pushed back and said, but we did establish that you never talked to Kanye.
You're right.
And
says you're right.
If we was to do that, like, I'm asking you.
I mean, to keep it real with you, I have tried to text him about things before, and when it gets over 2 or 3 lines, he said, this text is too long. We ain't texting.
So he says he's tried to text him about things. That sounds like something goofy Kanye would say.
That's goofy.
Kanye said if it's more than 2 or 3 lines, I'm not fam. Okay, but he did try to text him, initiate the conversation. He said, I'm not gonna do that. Weird conversation to have over text message in terms of $6 million being owed to you. Let's keep watching.
It do sound like that. That do sound like so he's saying.
So I have tried to communicate. So I'm not gonna sit up here and say like, I have tried to go into things before. I have tried to open up to him via that way. Now it has been times in person, but bro, I'm somebody who respects the vibe.
There has been times in person, but I'm someone that respects the vibe.
You know, I hate when mother respect the vibe.
The vibe.
But
when I'm in the studio, this is not the time to bring up no business to me.
He goes on to say something very explicit after that I'm not going to play. But Big Sean's thing is, I know when to respect the vibe. If you go back and you watch this interview, listen to the number of times the word vibe and vibes was said. The vibes. I respect the vibe. If I'm in the studio, I don't want to hear nothing about no business. If I'm doing this, I don't want to hear nothing about no business. You got to respect the vibes, the vibes, the vibes, the vibes, the vibes. And so what it does is he's right in that he's owed this money. He's right that he probably shouldn't bring this up at a Sunday service because, and Nori did point out that, hey man, like, good music Kanye may not be in the know of everything of good music. There's probably other people established to run that organization. Big Sean's like, well, someone over there owes me $6 million. And he says, well, have you talked to him in person? No, because I respect the vibes. The vibes. It's all about the vibes. And this is the big mistake that Big Sean made. And this is the big mistake that a lot of creative people make. Is you let the vibes and you let the creative energy and you let the atmosphere dictate you having healthy conversations and healthy conflicts, which leads to toxic, passive-aggressive behavior. Gossip, slander, all kinds of nonsense. Okay? Because it can't always be all about the vibes. Granted, yes, Sunday service is about the vibes. But if you owe me $6 million, and we're in the studio together, or we're in Malibu together, or we're hanging out, fam, I'm bringing it up to you. Big Sean said himself, that's life-changing money for him. And you've been around this person multiple times. You've tried to bring it up in text, but you don't want to ruin the vibes? Or are you just passive aggressive and kind of soft and don't want to put your big boy pants on and have a serious conversation with someone you claim to be a brother? And so what if he turns up on you and yells at you and tells you you're ruining the vibes? Brother, that's $6 million you're claiming he owes you. And you haven't had the chance to say that to that man's face. I'm not saying Kanye's right in this situation. By all accounts, this man's not done right by Big Sean. Not in the last Drink Champs interview, not in if he actually owes him $6 million and he's up a couple B's and he's not paying him. That's foul. You have to be direct with people and have these conversations when money's on the line, because nobody wants to have hard conversations and talk about business on the front end. So then a lot of assumptions are made and a lot of expectations are set. And then down the road, oh, well, I didn't know that. I thought I was getting this much and this much, right? And it's happened all the time, right? But if you're a follower of Jesus, we're instructed a specific way to confront people when they've sinned against us. Let's read it. And this is not Big Sean. Big Sean's not a follower of Jesus as far as I know, right? Maybe he was at some point. I don't know. But as far as from everything we're measuring, he hasn't professed that. Matthew 18, verse 15, if your brother sins against you, go and tell him his fault between you and him alone. If he listens, you have gained your brother. If he does not listen, take one or two brothers along with you, that every charge may be established by the evidence of 2 or 3 witnesses. If he refuses to listen to them, tell it to the church. And if he refuses to listen even to the church, let him be to you as a Gentile and a tax collector. Jesus is telling us, hey, if someone sins against you, you got to bring this to them in person. You can't go and have a conversation with them about them behind their back. You can't go on a podcast and air them out, right? Again, something different if it's a public, like if it's a public back and forth between public figures, if somebody's writing a book, you write a response book, that's different. But if somebody personally sins against you, if somebody personally violates you, you take it to them, and then there's no attempt at resolution, then you have to bring some witnesses, and then you bring it before the entire church. And I've gone through this in my real life. I've sat down, had conversations. I feel like you're foul in this situation. They don't hear me. Okay, well, guess what? I'm bringing a witness. You don't hear me in the witness? Cool. We're sitting down before the pastor. I've done that before. I've gone this extent before. Over business stuff. It's mad messy. It's mad uncomfortable. It didn't work out, but I at least attempted, right? So I think this is the part where Big Sean and a lot of people just completely miss it on. Brother, if somebody owes you this sort of money and you've went and did paid the money to get the forensics accounting done, hundreds of thousands of dollars to find out somebody owes you $6 million. Maybe they do or don't know how all the ins and outs of good music. Sure, I'll give you that benefit of the doubt. Maybe Kanye doesn't know everything going on in good music. Respect, maybe he doesn't. Maybe he doesn't even know. And now him finding out publicly for the first, hypothetically, let's give Kanye the benefit of the doubt. Hypothetically, now he's finding out about something publicly on a podcast. right? Now, hopefully Kanye got the type of money to just be like, oh, is this true? Cool. Let me just slide him that 6 or slide him more than that for the hassle, right? And keep it pushing. Maybe that's a thing. But these types of things make situations worse. When you have an issue with someone, friends, creative, business, financial, family, and you don't take it to them, you don't put on your big boy pants, you don't confront them straight up, you don't hash it out privately, and then you go and talk to someone else about it first. And then that person talks to someone else. Or you vent. I gotta vent. I feel so cleansed because I vented my frustration. Yeah, that's cleansing in the moment, but you are doing damage to that relationship. You are doing serious damage that's gonna be harder to walk back. So I think Big Sean, the mistake, and Kanye's made a lot of mistakes, but the one big mistake Big Sean and Kanye's made in this situation is being passive aggressive. Is not dealing with stuff directly because of the vibes. Oh, it's the vibes. Cut the vibes nonsense out. If we're in the studio together, you owe me $6 million, I don't care about the vibes. I'm bringing it up. We're having a big boy conversation. You're gonna be uncomfortable, I'm gonna be uncomfortable, but at least we'll get somewhere in the needle. No, that's not a text message conversation. And that's definitely not for airing something out publicly on a podcast. So I think Big Sean was definitely not done right in this situation. I feel bad for the dude. I think he really was loyal to Ye and to good music and really did his best. But this is a lesson for a lot of us, man, that if we are going to thrive and flourish as individuals, Christ followers, and that's gonna require us being partnered with other people. That's going to require us connecting with other people. It's going to require relationship. It's going to require collaboration, sometimes partnerships. We have to know how to have healthy conflict. We have to know how to confront people in love and not always being consumed with the pre-dictated nonsense of the vibes. The vibes will get a lot of people in trouble, okay? The vibes had a lot of y'all listening to music that went on to manifest some really dark fruit, okay? And you endorsed it, enabled it. The vibes is not always the vibes. Sometimes the vibes is people being passive aggressive and not knowing how to have healthy conflict. So let me know what y'all think about this. How do you do with conflict? That's what I want to hear from. How do you do with conflict? How do you do with tough conversations? Do you know how to approach people? Are you mastered by the vibes? Let me know what y'all think about this. All right.
Kingstream Entertainment. Ruslan.
Hey, thank you so much for making it to the end of this video. Be sure to hit the like button and subscribe and check out the resources in our description. We have a free How to Study the Bible course at mastermydevo.com. We have a Master My Habits course coming that's also free with my therapist. And we have a Find Your Niche training if you're considering jumping into the Christian YouTube creator space. All free resources, tons of other links. And be sure to check out some of the other videos right here that YouTube is recommending to you by me. All right? Peace.